All right, welcome back to the second segment of Rob's Arcade, which is not brought to you by Red Bull, nor is it sponsored by Red Bull, but it will get you jacked and it makes your hair look good. So, anyway, my wife wanted to try these out. She's already had hers, the Dragon Fruit Summer Edition. Pretty tasty. Really good. All right, so here we are, guys. Had a great little break out there. Great comic book run. Some really cool titles I picked up today. Had a really good lunch. We decided to go to, of course, as you know, Chicken Fiesta. Had a really, really good lunch. Sitting really, really nice right now. Had the 3 taco platter. One of those things where like the first couple tacos are just perfect and crunchy. By the third one, it was just kind of a mess and just a really, really great lunch. Like some great beans and rice and everything. Just a big old salad and mess by the time I was done with it. Really good. Got some Fortnite time in with my cousin on his lunch break, which I don't think I played, maybe this is like the second time I played Fortnite, like all season. So, that was a lot of fun. Actually got a victory royale. Way to go, Holden, with the vehicular homicide move at the very end there. Very clutch. Of course, I called it the very last game. He had to go back in 5 minutes, do a hot drop. We wind up making it to the end, winning the game. Way to go, Holden. Great job. Great game. Wish I could have like clipped it and saved it and seen it like on your end and shown everybody on the YouTube channel. But one day we'll get something like that. Very cool. Very very nice move. Let me see. What else? What else? Um, yeah, no, just good times. Like I said, playing some Fortnite with my cousin. You feel like I got like a lot packed into this afternoon, this time off, and go ahead, I guess, and just jump into the comic book buys that I grabbed today. Now, the great thing about Richmond Comics is like it's kind of broken up into like two sides of the store. Where when you first walk in, you have like the right side of the store, which has all your main books, all the old stuff and back issues through the middle, all your new stuff, and popular titles and stuff around the outsides. On the other side, on the left, when you walk in, it's more oriented, I guess, towards young readers, the youth, a lot of books, and then a lot of like comic books geared towards younger readers, a lot of Disney, more cartoony Star Wars type books, and things of that nature. You got your Sonics, your Pokemon, all that kind of cool stuff floating around on the left side. And we found some really great stuff on both sides of the store. But we'll start, with some of the stuff I guess I found on the left side, which this is a book I've been looking at, and I guess this is an action figure now. Hasbro released this guy as an action figure. His name is Jackson, I believe is how you pronounce the name. And he's a really cool, like, rabbit-like character. And I don't know, there's something about rabbits being, like, samurais or Star Wars characters. I just find it very appealing, and I think the mass audience does as well. Similar to the Ninja Turtle aspect, if you will. So very cool character. And I've been looking at this book, thinking of picking it up, and I finally said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy today. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this book and checking out more of this character that very cool action figure is based off of. While floating over on that side, we also found my wife picked up these Tales of Villainy Star Wars Adventures. Looks like it's following the stories of Rey, Poe, and Finn down here. Some of the stories that we might not get to see within the movies, and I really, really love the artwork inside. It's got a very, I don't know if you're familiar with the cartoon Aeon Flux feel to it, which is interesting because I just started watching some Aeon Flux the other night. last night, as a matter of fact. But yeah, the artwork by Ilias Kairazes. Ilias Kairazes. Um, Sorry, I'm butchering that awfully. Let's see if I can get a close up there. You can see, there you go. There's the artist. Great artwork. Like I said, very reminiscent of the Eon Flux. And we got issue 1 and issue 2 there, as we can see again. We got Ray, Finn, and Poe on the cover, ready for action. Very cool book. Looking forward to reading those. My wife picked those up, but let's face it, I will definitely be reading those Star Wars adventures. I think I got a Star Wars book in here myself, but before we get to that, also for my wife, which, I mean, I'll probably read this too. This just looks like a lot of fun. Archie and Friends Superheroes. Another kind of like, you know, oh, it looks, oh no, it's not an annual. I thought it was like an annual or something. Oh no, it looks like a #1, new title. That might be kind of fun. So, Archie comics are always neat. Let's see. Picked up the second issue of Alien, which I don't think was released this week. I think this was actually released last week, but I think I might have missed it. And plus, I went a little light last week. My wife had to pay for the comics because I left my wallet at home. So, picked up this one here, second issue of the Alien book. Love aliens. Love Wolverine. So, I got the next issue here, Wolverine. This has been a really fun title. As I've mentioned before, Wolverine is one of those characters that got me into the superhero comic books, and I've been really loving his book. I kind of got away from him, for a while. His title, some crazy things started going on in his book, which, I mean, some crazy things are going on in every comic book, I suppose. But it feels like this is getting back to more of the roots and some really great storytelling that I've just been really enjoying. Way of the X issue 2 here. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. These X books are pretty wild. Each X book is really neat in how each one really does a great job of kind of like telling its own story. I feel like in older days, in like the 90s, when I was reading different X-Men books, each book was basically just a another younger version of like the X-Men. So like X Factor, X Force, it was always just like this new team, this young team. X Factor was a little different in the 80s, but I always felt like they were just younger, fresher teams of the X-Men story, where I don't know, nowadays each book, each title really does have its own life and its own style and its own breadth. And X-Men, X Force, X Factor all take place in the same universe, but they're able to be used as different, I guess, tools to tell, different types of stories, if that makes any sense. Whereas, like I just read an X Factor book, very trippy, a very kind of mind-bending story where, you might jump into X-Men and, you might get another kind of storytelling that, again, is still very, if you want to use the word trippy or wild, crazy storytelling. Oh, that story was amazing, but told in a different way and using different, characters, and just it's really been a joy getting back in some of these X titles that Wolverine, again, ultimately kind of opened my mind to back in the 90s. So here we have the Star Wars book that I picked up today. Now this is Star Wars Bounty Hunter, issue 12, The Search for Solo. Now this is interesting because I love this cover. There's a couple different covers with this one. This book I picked up because, we're here. Last week I picked up The War of the Bounty Hunters. Great issue here. Was reading this earlier. The also got the director's cut. The crazy thing about this was I picked this up thinking this was just going to be like another title, maybe a mini series. It wouldn't go on that long, but what was I wrong? Back here in the back, there's this crazy. This is the checklist for the War of the Bounty Hunters. Look at this. It goes on and on all the way into October here, and then like the actual War of the Bounty Hunters issue 1 doesn't even come out until June. Like what I picked up is just like a prequel, a lead up to all of that. And like, so here I am now picking up yet another title because it all kind of intertwines with each other. But I will say, I've read Star Wars issue 13 that also wraps into that, and that was a very cool issue. The way that stories overlap and intertwine with each other is very, very cool. And the way the comics and the stories are intertwining with the movies and how these kind of take place in between episodes 5 and 6 is really neat. And I can only imagine that the War of the Bounty Hunters might lead us into episode 6, and that's maybe where these stories might stop, and we might get some, some really cool stories coming this December from Marvel and Star Wars. So this might just be like a lead and a prequel, if you will, to even more stories coming out. So anyway, here we go. More Star Wars books making its way into the box. Also, speaking of going light, last week, Spider-Man cannot have enough titles, so we have another Amazing Spider-Man #1, the king size King's Ransom, or the giant size King's Ransom. Should have called it the king size. That would make more sense, right? The king size King Ransom issue here. Very, very cool. Didn't get this last week, but yeah, it's just, gosh, it's like how many books do we need? How many more? How many? I got the variant issue here. Got had to get a couple of copies this week. I'm buying, as well as, of course, then Spider-Man 66, because we can never have too much Spider-Man. Also got Geiger issue #2. Not really sure where this book is going, but this has been a pretty cool, pretty fun read. Just kind of also getting my Image collection a little beefed up there, and with Jeff Johns, you can never go wrong with any of his stuff. Got some more Flash here with 770. Back to Marvel with some Fantastic Four. I never read into Fantastic Four. This looked like a lot of fun. New release, new title, same old threats. Galactus there in the background, always looming. Kind of cool. Like that a lot. And then my boy Nightwing. Haven't read last month's issue yet. I'll get around to it. And, I got to go through my books that I read. But this will be a nice little sit-down, double back-to-back kind of read there. And then last but not least, of course, again, I haven't read the first issue to this. So this will be a nice little back-to-back double read here. Batman, the Detective. So very cool. Very, very profitable, promising run to the store today, to the comic shop. Before I head out, I almost forgot, before I jump into books, I wanted to share with you how many books I read over this past week, something I'm just going to kind of keep up with and just kind of keep up with you guys. And it looks as of this week, let's see, last week I did 14. This week I did 14 comics as well. So, all right, not too bad. I think I can do better. That's like 2 a day. Let's see if we can't crank that number up a little bit, get that average jumping just a bit more. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. I've been telling myself I want to try to keep these videos a little bit shorter. Thanks for hanging out with me so much, you guys. It's been a lot of fun. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know how your Wednesday was, how your week's been so far. Let me know if there's anything you want me to do or say, or any kind of ideas for videos, concerning comics, video games, anything like that. Leave it all down below. Totally open for suggestions and ideas and whatever. So yeah, guys, again, don't forget to like, share, please subscribe if you're not. Please comment down below. And until next time, don't spend your quarter anywhere else, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Later.